Hello and welcome to our research video. We are Team 11 in SRA 111 in Section 1. My name is Seamus Lunny, and along with me are Kevin Gibson, Sucrete J, Tommy DeLeon, and Matt Chung. Our research question: is the information of government official George Johnson safe when he travels overseas? Some background about Johnson is that he travels overseas regularly due to his work. On this trip, he decides to bring his family to make up for lost time. However, he decides to bring along his work-related devices to catch up on work he is behind. However, because of his regular and attackless travels, he believes he does not need to take as many precautions as he usually does when he is preparing his devices for travel. Because of this rash decision, his devices are now unprotected and are vulnerable to attack. Because of this vulnerability, his devices could be compromised in many ways. First off, an attacker could locate the device through GPS and steal the physical device, allowing full access. Also, he could have authority to conduct room searches, so the attacker could pose as a hotel employee and gain entry to the room, which would allow access to the devices and chance for installation of malware or the theft of the physical devices. Physical identity theft of passports, driver's license, and credit cards could also occur through pickpocketing. Next, Johnson is endangering his information because he has not prepared his devices correctly. The attacker could utilize social engineering techniques in order to damage or gain control of the information. First off, pretexting is when the occurrence of an attacker could use a fake identity of a trustworthy coworker or friend to gain Johnson's intel. Spear phishing is an occurrence where an attacker targets a specific person with advanced research so that the vehicle for the attack will be seen as legitimate. Lastly, tailgating, which is the occurrence where an attacker could gain entry to a room by following an employee into the room, which in this case is a maid. In our first example, we will be depicting the attacker posing as a hotel employee and with whom could gain access to Johnson's room and belongings while he is not present. This is an example of pretexting. Unless Johnson had installed a camera system to monitor the room while he was out, he would have no way of knowing who was in the room or who went through his belongings. While the attacker is in the room, he or she could install malware onto his laptop or download files onto a separate hard drive, therefore compromising the intel.
Room service.
You can come in. You told me that.
What's up? It's pretty good. I mean, it's nice and relaxing. Haven't been doing too much. Just chilling at the beach, hanging out with the family. How's everything back home? uh, what else? It was pretty good. Not much going on. Just hanging around. Like, why do I, like, what's going on? Like, why, what? Sound disgusted about what?
Thinking.
Bye.
In order to prevent such a scenario, Johnson should implement a multi-factor authentication system, which includes a room key representing something you have, an in-room safe combination representing something you know, a fingerprint scanner on devices representing something you are, and finally a strong password representing something you know. Our second example is spear phishing. The attacker could again pose as a hotel employee, but this time could begin his attack electronically. Upon arrival, the attacker could launch a spearfish attack where he sends a confirmation email to Johnson with a false link that sends malware onto the used device. Also, the malware would allow the attacker to gain access to any personal or work-related information which compromises not only Johnson himself but also his workplace.
Now we have our example spear phishing email, and this email shows just exactly what could happen to you if you were to get one of these emails. This is sent as a hotel room confirmation to George Johnson, asking him for information that he might need to give the hotel in order to confirm his room stay. But instead, this is just an attacker trying to get this information so that he can steal Johnson's information. So the email asks for 3 items: the name of the occupants in the room, the credit card CVV number, and a valid form of identification. Now, as all spear phishing links, they have a hyperlink in them, which is right here, and this just makes it look authentic. And then to finalize it, We will add a picture from the actual Portrait Roma Hotel to top it off.
By preparing his devices correctly, Johnson could have implemented anti-phishing software to prevent the opening up of a misleading email. Also, he could have downloaded current, up-to-date antivirus protection, spyware protection, operating system security patches, and a personal firewall, all of which would prevent a breach in security and a loss in information. Our final example is a depiction of tailgating. The scene will begin with a hotel employee beginning their daily cleaning routine. Johnson's door is left open as the maid enters the room and neglectfully keeps it open. Unknowingly, the attacker follows the maid into the room. The attacker sneaks up behind the employee and knocks him unconscious. The attacker then proceeds to obtain the confidential information and steals the devices, all of which have confidential information on them. To prevent such a scenario, it is important to remember to keep all belongings inside a secure location with a strong passcode, a safe for example. In addition to physical security, such as a safe, there should also be tracking software installed on all the devices. In the case of something is stolen, there is an increased chance that it could be recovered or destroyed, such as a terminate all option. In conclusion, because of the neglectful actions, George Johnson's information is not secure. First off, he did not protect his devices physically. He did not place them in a safe with a strong passcode. If he did, there would be no worry if an attacker did successfully enter the room, because he or she would not be able to gain access to the devices because of the secure safe and unknown passcode. Also, he did not implement antivirus or spearfish software, a firewall, or operating system security patches. In result, his devices could not be protected against an attack through Wi-Fi, email, or physically implementation of malware onto the devices. If he had taken the time to implement such measures, he would not have compromised his information.